There has been news from Austria this week as the Pierer Mobility Group has announced that KTM is entering into voluntary restructuring in order to avoid bankruptcy amid ongoing financial woes in the company. KTM's financial problems have led to a number of drastic measures in recent months, with its board of directors sliced from 6 members to 2 members, while several rounds of layoffs of staff have been carried out. In recent weeks, it was reported that KTM would be laying off up to another 300 employees, while all production would be ceased in January and February of 2025. This comes as its share prices have plummeted 90% since their peak in February of 2022, with the company not expecting to secure necessary financing to cover the high 3-digit million figure it needs. PMG will now apply for insolvency in Austria, with the KTM brand to be spun off and restructured in a bid to avoid declaring bankruptcy. Now, as you know, this very much affects MotoGP and the KTM project. As we know, they're heavily backed by Red Bull, and the Pierer Mobility Group is involved in all classes. You've got teams in Moto3, you've got teams in Moto2, and of course the MotoGP project that has essentially 2 factory teams now, with Pedro Acosta and Brad Binder in the main Red Bull factory KTM team, and the Tech 3 Red Bull KTM team with Maverick Vinales and Enea Bastianini. However, KTM have insisted over the last week that the MotoGP project will continue as normal in 2025, despite the issues that the company is having with their money. What does this mean? Well, like I say, it's very complex for everyone outside of it. It's more for the KTM production, so the bikes that we see on the roads, off track, the whole package really falls into that. And you have to think, with the amount of money, when you see the figures that have been suggested of projected loss for the company, racing is a part of KTM's DNA. They're saying is ready to race. It must be a worrying time for people involved with that. KTM have said that the aim of the proceedings is to agree a reorganised plan with creditors within 90 days. Redimensioning the group should not only secure continued existence of the KTM group in the long term, but it also creates a basis for emerging stronger from the proceeding. And it really comes down to production. They say redimensioning the production should lead to a gradual adjustment in excess stock in KTM and its dealers over the next 2 years. This will result in a reduction in operation performance at the Austrian sites totaling over 1 billion euros in the years of 2025 and 2026. It just begs the question, though, the KTM's value in the world of MotoGP, Grand Prix racing, and of course outside of that you've got massive projects that they have in motocross, in MXGP, in Supercross, motocross in America. They are massive, and it's not just the KTM brand. It is of course Gas, Husqvarna. We've seen those brands really change in the Grand Prix side of things, and in particular in MotoGP. As you know, the Gas brand disappeared after its 2 years in the sport. It's now become a part of the KTM group again with the Tech 3 team, and they're under that banner. Then as well in Moto3, you've also got Gas, CF Moto, Husqvarna. You've got them all still there, and there's so many brands that are involved here. Yes, they all come under the same umbrella, but it has changed so much, especially in the motocross side. Gas don't really exist anymore. In motocross, they have Gas bikes, but it's all focused around building the brand and solely focusing on KTM. And this might be where the root of the problem has come from. As many of you know, the COVID pandemic happened. KTM took a real gamble and they really invested heavily in production after COVID, expecting a boom, which there wasn't. Of course, there's been a decline in the motorcycle market for just people buying. Really, no one really buys as many motorbikes. There isn't as much of an appetite out there in the world now to buy a motorbike, and this is a part of the problem. And you look at it, racing for KTM means a lot. The figure for KTM to go racing in MotoGP, for example, it's not exactly clear, but imagine it's from around 75 million euros to 100 odd million euros just to run an operation like that. It's a massive uptake. And what does it do for the MotoGP project going forward? Well, next year they will be on the grid. They've said that they will be. They've said in the Austrian press, I think they've said to Speed Week 2, that they will go ahead as normal. But does it really mean that KTM needs to start winning races and win the championship in the next year or two? Essentially, yes, because the brand set out a target when they first started MotoGP. From the first 7 to 8 years, they wanted to win a MotoGP World Championship. We've passed that, and they haven't really had much to show for it in terms of race wins. Their last dry race win came at Barcelona in 2021. Now that's 3 years going on 4 years as you head into next year. Incredible. Yes, they have won wet races, but they didn't even win a race in 2024. And that is a concern considering the talent that they have this year. Well, 2025 for next year. It's got to be all in for KTM. They have to perform on track. And the business off of it, it does link, of course, because if you win on MotoGP, if you win on a Sunday, and you're getting the brand out there, people are more likely. It's not going to be a huge amount, but people are going to take notice of your brand more. KTM need that. It's a very difficult time for everyone involved. I can imagine everyone that lost their jobs. Very, very tough. And I think that the motorsport side, it has to be now for their projects. They've been successful in motocross. They're successful all around the world in different championships. The one thing that they haven't cracked yet is MotoGP. And this is the time they need to do it. Let us know in the comments what you think of KTM's situation. It's worrying times, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. But at least they've set out this plan to restructure, to stabilize their financial, to stabilize the company, to preserve the company, and to hopefully stick around. Because if the world of motorbikes, motorcycling lost KTM, it would be massive for the industry. And I don't want to see it happen. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. And we'll see you next time.